caught me cleaning my sword. Okay. Oos. Alright. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about the Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman fight. I wasn't going to make a video on this, but I don't really keep up with the UFC as much as I used to. I don't really watch TV as much either. So actually I don't watch TV at all. So basically, I was asked, people were asking me what I thought of the Anderson Silva fight. Did Anderson Silva throw the fight against Chris Weidman? Or was there politics involved and, so forth? My opinion on that is, the UFC is a sport. It became it's a sport, just like any other sport out there. So there's always going to be politics involved in sports. So that part we will never know. But from my opinion, I think that Anderson Silva, he was doing what he usually does. If he's fighting, because that's the way he fights, he moves around, he mocks people, he a little bit on the cocky side. So he showboats a lot, but that's how he builds up his confidence. So if he doesn't do that, then he might not fight as well as he does if he's mocking somebody. So the mocking and the cockiness is part of his game plan. Kind of get into your brain, get into your mindset, kind of throw you off, for him to set up his techniques. Do I think Anderson Silva is the greatest fighter in the world? To say somebody is the greatest in the world, I think is an illusion, because there's no such thing as the greatest in the world, or the best martial artist, or this whatever, or he's a superstar, or whatever, the best sort of it. Because we as individuals have something to bring to the table at the end of the day. So we all have, special skill or special art that we can all show. It's like I can do a side kick, I can do a roundhouse kick, I can do a spinning back kick, I can punch, whatever. Yeah, there's the next guy who can do the same thing. He might do it in a different form, he might do it at a different speed rate, but does he make it any better than me? Or does it make me better than him? So as far as saying Anderson Silva is the best, I don't really believe in being the best or the greatest. You're just good at what you do. He's good at what he does in the cage. A sport. I think he's a good martial artist. So, he executes his techniques well, and his footwork is is good, and has he really fought any top level fighters? I wouldn't. The only person is probably I say he fought that was really, you can say, is like anything like a top level might be Dan Henderson. I mean, like the other guys he fought, like Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, Rich Franklin. Those guys. Rich Franklin is okay, but like the other guys are built up hype. They all, to look like they're something that they're not, or to portray them as being one of the best, and then and it's Silva beat them. So, but it doesn't work that way. There is money involved in these things, and it's a sport. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you have a guy in there, moving around and dodging punches and looking good, you have to ask yourself, who is he looking good against? Who is he really fighting? I mean, anybody can look good against somebody who is not as good as them. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like Floyd Mayweather, he's pretty good on his footwork. He's pretty good on his boxing. His head movements, everything is good. Same as Muhammad Ali. Do I think Anderson Silva is up to those guys' levels? No, he's not. I don't think he's up to that level. He's good at jiu-jitsu. He's good at moving around, moving his head around. But as far as being as good as Muhammad Ali or like Floyd Mayweather, I don't think so. Or Roy Jones Jr. No, because he doesn't have that that rhythm and to keep that momentum going and moving back and forward against somebody on a higher level. He doesn't really have that, but then he has techniques and the jiu-jitsu and all that stuff to pull off fights against I guess mediocre guys. But if you had to fight a guy who really knew how to really move the head, really knew how to really box, you would not beat them because he just doesn't have it. It's something that you have to really. It's either you have it or you don't have it, or you train hard for it. So did he throw the fight? No, he didn't throw the fight. He was doing what he usually does, and he was mocking Chris and doing his thing. Kind of did it for a little bit too long. You know, he could have stopped in maybe like the second, or after the first round and going to the second, he could have like yo, let me just take this guy a little serious now and start putting some kicks and punches in and trying to work up a game plan. But instead, he was just mocking him all the way through. Not sure how long he was planning to mock him, but as I said, everybody has a chin, and your face not meant to get hit. And I don't care who you are, unexpected moves are hard to counter. So what you don't, the move you don't see, is the one that's gonna knock you out. So if you notice, Anderson Silva's head was kind of way back, or way back here, like this, and his eyes were looking that way. So then his chin is up in the air. So he's not looking at the punch. Usually he will look at the punch and then say, hit me, and then the guy hit, and then he would just like tuck in, just take the punches. And you can see where the punch is coming from. If you're telling somebody to hit him, and you hit him, then obviously he's just gonna just take the impact. So going backwards kind of take the pressure and takes the force off the punch. But when he was doing this here, he saw that miss, he did this, and he kind of went, this right here, you should have to do this. He needed to move back either one or two steps with his foot. His foot was planted, then the next one of this, going back this way, but the one thing his chin was up in the air, and his eyes were looking that way. So unexpected moves are hard to counter, and the moves you don't see, regardless, it could be anything. It could be a roundhouse kick. It could have been a back fist. He doesn't see the punch coming, so he doesn't know how to react to it. It's different when you see it, then you know how to react. You see it and say, okay, the punch is coming, so let me brace. But if you don't see it, then your head's back here. It's a small. It wasn't even a great punch, but it doesn't take a powerful punch to knock somebody out. Just a touch, and then he was out. So honestly, he didn't throw the fight. That's just that is gonna happen. Not taking nothing away from Chris Weidman. I mean, is Chris Weidman the greatest fighter in the world now? No, because I don't really believe in greatest and whatever and all this crap, because it's just all illusion. It's just you have somebody telling you that, hey, you're the greatest, man. So then you go and believe that, like, oh, I'm the greatest in the world now, and you get real cocky and you feel like the best. There's no such thing like that, man. Everybody have something to offer, and you have to remember to be modest and always humble yourself. As far as thinking, that hey, this guy's the greatest. Is you can be good in what you do, You understand? So Anderson Silva is, good in the cage. He mastered the cage. He knows how to move around. He knows how to set up the techniques in the cage. You know, it's not easy to be in the cage because there's stuff that you gotta know. When your back's against the cage, how to get off, how to get off the ground if you're in the cage. So there's a lot of things that you have to put in perspective also. So yeah, so I don't think that he threw the fight. So he just got caught in his own spider web, got tangled up, and got knocked out, and that's it. You know, that's just how it is. So as I said, these things are money makers, sports to make money. You have to understand that it's entertainment, and can't really judge these things of if this guy's the greatest or whatever, the best in the world. So you just have to understand that it's media and it's selling the people, entertainment. The television has been around for, a couple of years, years and years now. So, I mean, that's a good way to, send out information, to people. Kind of like a brainwashing kind of technique, So if you're not careful, what people say, what people tell you, and what you're watching, you can end up being a fool about certain things, and you have to acknowledge yourself, be knowledgeable about certain things before you start believing it. Always question things before anything. Always question, why this, why that. Never always go, oh, okay, cool. Oh, so it's the greatest, that's real. Okay, that's, okay. So it's like that? Okay, cool, I believe it. Always question everything you see, man. Never fall into anything, never, like, oh, yeah, always question everything. So I believe that I'm a martial artist, okay? And there is respect involved in, if it's a sport or for self-defense or a real life situation, there's always respect involved. I know that Anderson Silva fights in a certain way. Is it a disrespect to the opponent? I wouldn't say it's a disrespect because that's the way how he fights. He is like entertainment, so he goes in there and then he performs. After the fight, he shows his respect. So it's not like he's walking around like behaving in that manner, like what he does in the cage, like being cocky all the time, or whatever. But that's just entertainment, and that's how he fights. If he doesn't fight in that manner, maybe you probably won't win fights like that. So that's his style of fighting. So, but it's always good though, one thing is never to underestimate your opponent. That's one thing. So, I mean, you might mock around for a little while, joke around, whatever, do it for a couple of seconds and so forth, but never underestimate the other guy. So, never think that, this guy, he's like a Forrest Griffin and, Stephen Bonner. So, or Shea Sean. So he's not gonna, his punches is not gonna hurt me because I'm the greatest in the world, and I believe that now, and so I can just leave my hands down and leave my chin out in the air, and then he won't knock me out. Doesn't matter if a man trains, and he has 2 hands and 2 feet, and he can throw punches and throw kicks. It doesn't matter what the kick look like, what the punch look like. If it lands to your chin, it will knock you out. Especially if you don't see it coming, you can get knocked out. So never underestimate your opponent. That's one thing you should never do. Back to my sword. You guys can, leave a comment. You can subscribe to this channel. Rate. Check out WayneGichie.com. Uh, keep on kicking.